My name is Amit and I'm a book designer and I specialize in book cover design. I've been working for over 16 years now and the last 5 years in trade publishing. I'm a freelancer now. I was working with Harper Collins in my last job in the role of a design manager. Yeah, so I work out of my home studio in Delhi. So my journey started long ago in 2007. So I worked with a couple of design studios from 2007 until 9, and I think it was really hard for me because I didn't have any design training as such, and I hadn't gone to a proper college. So I was really faltering. I was learning the tricks of the trade, and I was asked to leave because I didn't do so well. So then I took a bit of a break. Then I started applying for jobs, and I heard from a publisher who wanted to hire a book designer. So then I joined them for a bit. I was designing book covers for school books like Cambridge, OUP, Macmillan and stuff. And then I happened to join DK, which is Dorling Kindersley. They're really known for their adult reference books, which are really high quality encyclopedias and books about history and culture. Then I worked for them for 5 years. I had multiple promotions and went to the UK for a trip to work on a special project. So all of that was fun. And that's when I realized that book publishing was where my passion was, because I grew up reading a lot and I really found my peace in books. And even more so when I started designing and knowing the processes of book design. So it was very therapeutic for me. It was very meditative, and it just didn't feel like that I was working, but it was more like pursuing a hobby. So from there, I went on to Oxford University Press for 3 years, where I was designing books mainly for schools, for all subjects: math, science, social studies, Hindi, English, and all of that. And it was fun as well, but I think I wanted to explore like the trade publishing side, which is novels, fiction, non-fiction, poetry, because that's where my main interest lied as well. And I never worked in trade publishing before, so it was my dream to work with any of the big 5 publishers like Penguin, Harper, PanMac, PanMac, and all of that. So then I happened to go for an interview at Harper Collins. They were looking for a trade book cover designer. And it was really hard because they had a test, and my test didn't go so well because I had no experience in trade publishing, but somehow they got convinced to hire me, and thank God they did, because I really had a blast there. And that's where I explored my strengths as a designer, and I learned really the finer nuances of design in the industry. And I worked on many great, books for many great authors, be it Amitabh Ghosh or Gulzar, and a lot of celebrity memoirs, a lot of shoots. I worked on cookbooks and all of that. So that was really amazing. Then I worked there for 5 years, and recently I gave up my job to be a full-time freelancer, where I work with Harper Collins still in capacity of a retainer, and I work with almost every other publisher in India and a few publishers overseas as well, and it's been going well. So that's been my journey. I think a must-have for me, for a designer, that a person has to have is good observation skills, because in my personal experience, that's how I learned, most of the skills in my life, be it personal or professional. So observation really helps, and the eagerness to learn. I'll give you an example, because yesterday I was telling my other friends as well just before that I worked at a place 15 years ago, and I got a call from them, and they said that they want to hire me because they remembered how eager I was to learn 15 years ago. So I think if you work in the full honesty and you're eager to learn and you want to grow, like, people will notice that, at whatever stage in life. And so I would say eagerness to learn, and observe well, see how others work, see how they take designs, see how they review, how they give feedback, take their feedback, imply it in your personal life and while working as well, of course. I mean, yeah, so observation and eagerness to learn and grow. At any stage of life, in your professional life, that would help you. Yeah, so I had a almost 3 hour long class with them, and I was worried initially when I was like structuring it down, because I didn't think it's a lot of time to teach them everything about book cover design, because it's also like vast as a stream or a genre. So I just thought I'll introduce them to the process of book cover design rather than like teaching them like really finer nuances, because you can't really teach all of that in the time that you have. So I started with the various formats that books are available in the market, and various genres, and familiarize them with the kind of books that are out there and the designs, and gave them examples of different approaches of book cover design, which is like photographic, illustrative, and all of that. And then spoke a bit about how I interpret a cover design brief, what to expect out of it, how to challenge the brief, how to think literally and laterally. I mean, laterally more so because that's really very important in design. And then we spoke about how you start. I mean, the things that I keep in mind, because it's really not possible. I don't know if it's really possible to teach how you come up with ideas, but I think the skills could be learned, and I spoke about the skills and how the things that I really keep in mind while navigating through my design process from the start to the finish. Then I also spoke a bit about the production, which is really important, because what you see doesn't really necessarily translates into a physical, the same way into a physical copy. So the things that you need to keep in mind, the kind of papers, operations, and all of that. Yeah, they were really interesting set of questions about the way the industry works, and also like a lot of technical questions about how to use Pantone and different operations like spot UV, emboss, and all of that, and but generally about how you generate ideas and how you translate it onto your screen. Yeah, so I was really surprised. I mean, not really surprised, but like kind of really, happy that they were so enthusiastic about the whole course. So, art direction can really take your design to another level, and also it comes with a sense of what the book actually needs, what's good for the book, what's good for the market, like having a whole 360-degree idea of like how the project should shape and look like. I mean, being a designer, I'm maybe only designing what I think is best for the book, but it's also having somebody else giving you that sense of direction and take the design to another level. I mean, it just shapes the project up better. I see each book cover as a different, as a different project, and it's case by case. Sometimes you really fight for what you think is right, and you try to convince the other people by showing examples of, okay, it's been done already, let's do something new, and this is what is trending, and it's good for the book. That book did really well with this cover, so maybe let's try it out. Or, sometimes it's a hit or a miss, like sometimes you hit the spot, sometimes you don't, but I think it's good to question if you're not happy with what's been shortlisted as the winner. The thing is, like, you really can't please everybody because there's so many levels of approval, so you do your best. You design the best in your capacity, you give them a lot of variety. That's what I usually do. I do a very conventional cover, then I do something which is very different. And then at the end of the day, they do have a say because they have their name on the book. So they do have the authority to choose if they want to go with A or B. But if you are not happy with it, you can always question in a way which is pleasing and, nice. But at the end of the day, it's the authors and the publishers who take the call. I don't think you have to be a good reader, to be a good book cover designer, and also I think the way we see book cover designs has changed over the years, and social media has really made a difference. Because earlier, I remember like maybe 10, 15 years ago, like publishers and editors saying, good book cover design should have the true essence of what is inside, like it should be true to its content and stuff. But I think it's kind of changing over the years, and I think for good, because now people see it as a very, very strong marketing tool for the book, which wasn't the case earlier. So now you see a book cover has to photograph well, it has to look good on a grid. So all of these factors, and while you're buying books on e-commerce websites, you only see them as thumbnails. So all of those factors you have to account for while designing, and which is, obviously you have to deliver the best cover in terms of the aesthetics, but it's also like marketing should be kept in mind. And I think this generation is really good at marketing themselves out. And they are more social media friendly. They know the best angles, they know the best, tricks and all of that. So, yeah. I think the advice that I would give is, to a designer of, pursuing any sort of design is to of course, learn the skills first. It's very important to know the skill. If you want to grow as a designer, it's also very important to have your unique style. So I think just try to figure out and explore. I'm not saying you need to limit yourself in the sense of time, that you only have this much time to explore your style or whatever. Sometimes it's a lifelong journey, but do focus on being unique and bring something new to the table. Don't follow the trends. Do consider the trends and observe and imbibe and all of that, but do translate all your knowledge in creating something new, unique, and fresh.